The following program, Live and Learn, is made possible by Aging Partners. Find out more on their website.
Hello everyone, I'm Julie Masters, and working with and for older adults in the aging field can be a rewarding experience. Today we'll talk to Jenna White, Care Manager at Aging Partners, about her choice to pursue an education in gerontology and what the future looks like for those who want to choose a similar path. So stay tuned. Hi everyone, I'm Julie Masters and welcome to Live and Learn. Thanks to LNK TV, Dave Norris, and Aging Partners for producing this program. I want to make a special thank you to the late Lita Powell Drake, who introduced me to this program a few years back. Grateful for all she did for this program, as well as the aging experience. I am pleased to have Jenna White from Aging Partners joining me today. As a gerontologist and social worker, Jenna has a passion for working with older adults. Jenna, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're just delighted to have you here. Jenna, as we talk about your work at Aging Partners, I'm just curious because you had to do some work in advance to get there. So what prompted you to pursue an education in gerontology?
Well, it started when I was in high school. So I worked as a dietary aide at a nursing home in my hometown. And it really gave me kind of that first glimpse and that first experience working with older adults. And I just loved the interaction I was able to have, even though it was brief. I really enjoyed that. And at the time, I didn't know that's what I wanted to pursue. I mean, I was in high school, so I was not quite sure what type of career I wanted. So it wasn't until my social work master's that I landed at Aging Partners for my foundation practicum placement. And I really fell in love with the agency. I love what we do. I love what our mission is. I love what I do as a care manager. And I really enjoyed the people I worked with. Most of them at that time had been there for 30 or 40 years. So that was something unique to find. People who have spent their entire career in one agency, which I felt spoke volumes to the agency itself and what we do. But then I loved the people I worked with, the older adults and their families, and being able to really genuinely make an impact in their lives. And that's what led me to gerontology, was being able to, through my social work master's, so through that practicum, it led me into the gerontology field.
So it's interesting because sometimes people might have the idea that the only thing they need, not the only, but that having the education in social work is sufficient. However, it sounds like you saw that the two complemented one another.
Right, and I hadn't heard about gerontology. I'd never heard that term before. And so it was through my social work classes where I had other students who every semester we'd go around and introduce ourselves in new classes. And I remember a few of them saying, I'm getting my master's in social work and I'm also getting a master's in gerontology. And I was like, well, what is this gerontology you speak of? And so I did some more research. I'm like, I really enjoy this population and what I'm doing. And I think this would really supplement and add to my knowledge and, add to my career path. And I chose at that point to focus my entire career on the field of aging.
So it was just as if having that interaction with other people that were studying aging, and gerontology is the study of the physical, psychological, and social aspects of aging. Right? So being around people who were doing that, you saw, here's a good connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's outstanding. And I think it's interesting too. So you did your master's degree in social work through the University of Nebraska, Omaha.
Yep.
And then you also did your master's degree through?
Yep, the University of Nebraska in Omaha through the Department of Gerontology.
Okay.
And I did them partially at the same time. So I was taking classes, I was commuting to Omaha and I was taking classes both for social work and also gerontology. So, and I also focused both of my practicums on aging, which I didn't intend to initially, but then my advanced practicum for my social work master's, I completed at the VA hospital in Omaha. And I wanted to make sure I was doing something aging related.
Excellent. So you talked about commuting from Lincoln to Omaha, but you were able to take some courses in Lincoln, is that right?
Yes, I was able to take one course. At the time, I was able to take one course in Lincoln. I was able to take several courses online, which was nice because it helped with that commute. But most of it was in class, but I liked that. I preferred in class because you get that interaction with your fellow students and your professors.
That's right. And that's been probably the gift post-pandemic, is being back together and being able to learn from one another. I'm glad you mentioned about taking not only the course in person but online. And the Department of Gerontology it has a statewide mandate to be able to offer gerontological education across the state of Nebraska. So to serve people like yourself who are working and living in Lincoln, to have the opportunity to take classes tends to make that a little more convenient.
It does, yes. It makes it more convenient if you're, like you said, if you're working, if you have family, so you can have that time.
Absolutely. And so, I think it's interesting, Jenna, that your work at Aging Partners also helps to inform something else that you do, and that is that you serve as an adjunct instructor for the Department of Gerontology. What a great experience for your students. Can you talk a little bit about what you do in that capacity?
Sure. So I teach in the fall. I teach Intro to Gerontology at UNL. My course is online. I used to teach in person, but again, because of the pandemic, we had to shift how we were teaching. So I teach that course online. And then in the spring, I teach programs and services for the elderly, which I really enjoy teaching that class because it's what I do every day at Aging Partners ultimately, is connect people with programs and services. So I'm able to bring a lot of my work experience into that class and share real life examples or real life, how things actually work in real life. And sometimes in school we learn a lot about theories and how things should work, but that's not always how they translate into real life. And so it's nice to be able to have that conversation because maybe it'll inspire somebody to want to make that change or advocate for that change for a family member or a program or service in their career as well.
Jenna, I can tell you that I've had students show up in my office on the Lincoln campus, Nebraska Hall, and they will tell me that they've had a course with you and just how you've made such a positive impact. And you've made that positive impact not only because of your knowledge, and without a doubt you are very well prepared from an educational standpoint, but your practical knowledge is what really helps to light the fire in the minds of students in terms of what can I do in terms of a potential career. So you've done a beautiful job.
Oh, thank you.
It's working well so far, so thank you. Well, I think it's interesting, when with your work with Aging Partners, and what a wonderful organization in terms of supporting an aging population. And particularly as we see the population grow in numbers, the need for Aging Partners, as well as all the other area agencies on aging across the state, that need is not going to go away. In fact, it's going to grow. So I'm just curious, what do you wish that people knew in terms of your work as a care manager?
I think one thing that I wish maybe more people knew, is that we are here to help. That I think sometimes people aren't sure who to turn to or who to talk to, and we have information specialists that people can call and talk to, ask questions. So maybe it's a referral somewhere that they need, or just even know who to contact, or maybe they need. Like we have reference lists and things that we can provide for housing, for respite care, for all sorts of different services. So we can send those out to families or to individuals searching for something to meet their needs. And if somebody needs more assistance, then we have care managers, kind of / case managers, that can then work with that person and that family one-on-one to help meet whatever those needs are that they're identifying.
So if someone needed to contact Aging Partners, certainly they could do a Google search and type in Aging Partners. But if they just wanted to pick up the phone, what number would they call?
They would call our main line, which would be 402-441-7070. and they would be referred to an information specialist initially. At that point, they'll ask questions to try to understand what's all going on, what direction they need to be, guided towards, and if they need more assistance, then they can make a referral to care management program or other agents or other programs within our agency.
Well, I think what's interesting about Aging Partners, as well as other area agencies on aging, in some cases people may need care management, they may need support, they may need home delivered meals and a whole host of things, but sometimes they're looking for ways in terms of how they can contribute and volunteer opportunities. So Aging Partners really runs the gamut in terms of services that would be available.
We do. I mean, we have a number of services that we provide at Aging Partners. We have a great Neighbor Link program.
Excellent.
They're always looking for volunteers because we have such a high need for recipients. So we have a number of people that would like to be connected with a Neighbor Link volunteer, even if it's just for that companionship, just to have somebody to talk to maybe once a week, once a month, whatever that need might be. Because some of these folks don't have any family, they don't have any friends, they don't have anybody else they can talk to. So we have lots of different opportunities through Aging Partners. And then we also can guide people to other opportunities in the community.
You know, what the research is telling us now is that when people can find a way to give back, you know, when people can focus on things beyond themselves, they tend to do better, not only from a cognitive standpoint, but from a physical standpoint as well, because now they've got a sense of purpose. They have a motivator to get up in the morning. They have a reason to be. So grateful to Aging Partners, grateful to you for what you do in terms of every day and your work with older adults and their families. Now, two more questions, right? Gerontology, the degree, because that took some time. It's a 36-hour program, whereas the certificate would be 18. Would you do it again?
Yes. I really enjoyed getting my master's in gerontology. I love the classes I took. The gerontology department offers such a wide array of classes. So one thing I always tell my students in my introduction to gerontology class is we're going to cover a very broad range of topics, so we don't dive into depth with each specific thing. We kind of brush over it to give you a general understanding. So the nice thing is that if there's something specific they really enjoy that they learned about in intro, there is a class available through the Department of Gerontology that goes into depth on that specific topic, and that's what I loved. I loved it.
Jenna, you are just outstanding from a marketing standpoint. We're going to have to remember that. Make a note to ourselves. We'll have to talk to our department chair, Chris Kelly, and encourage him to use that in terms of some of the promotional materials. So a final question for you, and I hope to do this, if I'm allowed back, I hope to do this with all the guests. And a question for you is, what brings joy in your life, Jenna?
There's a lot of things that bring joy in my life. I'd say probably spending time with my husband, our two cats, Cherry and Primrose. We are good cat parents, so we enjoy them a lot. They bring joy to me. Spending time with my friends, my family, my neighbors, my coworkers. I have a wide array of a social network, so I really enjoy that. I love traveling. I love going to new places, learning the history of those places, experiencing that culture. So those are probably some of the biggest things that bring joy in my life.
Excellent. Well, I know you bring joy to other people's lives in terms of the work you do with Aging Partners as a care manager, the work you do in the classroom, and just, Jenna, you're a good soul, and I'm so grateful that you very generously agreed to be part of this first Live and Learn segment that I have the good fortune of doing. So Jenna White, thank you so much. Thank you to Aging Partners. Thank you to LNK TV for producing this program. Dave Norris, you totally rock. Special thanks again to our dear friend, our late friend, Lita Paul Drake. So remember, it's never too late to live and learn.